back to Al Nelson's workshop. I'm your host, Al Nelson. Today, we are filming on location at one of my clients' homes. They are currently out of town and said I could use their guest room for a small project for a friend. I have been asked to make an exterior Christmas decoration, or for those of you that do not celebrate Christmas, holiday decoration for the front yard. Here's what you're going to need. A jigsaw, a driver, a reamer, a set of Christmas lights. I prefer to use the C9 ceramic light set. I believe they give a nice vintage look. A couple of paint brushes, a piece of leftover wood, and some paint. I'll get set up and see you back here. What you're going to want to do is find yourself a nice leftover piece of wood. This here is what was left after we sealed up a couple of holes in our client's house, and this was just going to be scrapped. This is a perfect piece to be using. Step number one, you want to draw your Christmas tree onto the plywood. I highly recommend starting with a pencil and then moving on to a Sharpie. Something a little bit more visible and more permanent. I do believe that everyone is going to want to draw their Christmas tree a little bit differently. So if you just give me a moment, I will draw mine and we will have that done. Do be creative while you are drawing your tree. It is the best way to go about it and use a little creativity. It does not have to be perfect. Please keep in mind, you will be cutting this out with the jigsaw. Here we are. There is my Christmas tree drawing for Ronaldo. I am now going to attempt to time-lapse me cutting this out with some festive music playing in the background. Remember, wear your goggles. Peepers are keepers. As you can see, the tree is now completely cut out. We are going to take the next step, which is to take our C9 ceramic light set, unbox it. Ronaldo has chosen an all blue motif for this, probably so he can use it for another special event, such as his 4th of July party, where he could put up a red, white, and blue tree. Perhaps he would like to make a blue spruce. I do not know. That is up to you to be creative. The reason we are taking these out, and we shall remove all of the light bulbs, if you would like, or what you can do, all of the bulbs are the same distance from each other. So we are going to remove at least 2. Put those somewhere safe. These are glass. They're not plastic. They're not Duplo Legos. If you break one of these, they will cut you. Please be careful. Take your Sharpie. You are going to want to plug this into an electrical outlet. So make sure that the male end of the electrical cord is in easy access. The first hole is very important. You would not want the first hole up here, as your cord will then be sticking out there. So we shall take the first one with our Sharpie. Mark it decide where the second light will go. Mark it. We'll meet you back here in a minute. We have now completed drawing where all of the lights are going to be. As you can see, this is an art and not a science. There are 25 lights going on the tree, and you want to make sure that they're going to be evenly dispersed. And we decided to go with the swooping bow light pattern, where they will look like the lights are wrapped around a three-dimensional tree, giving it a circular spiral look. We're now going to use a step bit, or as I like to call them, a reamer bit, and we're going to drill through the tree for the light bulb placement. Be very careful with this, because if you go too big, the light bulb will go all the way through. That is not what you're looking for. What you are looking for is the light bulb to go all the way through to about right there. That way it'll be plenty of room for it to attach to the cord, and it should hold with a little bit of rigidity without bouncing around. I'm going to bring my cord up. As you can see, the cord does not come through. It sticks, it holds on the wood. The light tightens up nicely and is held in place with just a little bit of jiggle. Now, to expedite that process, what we can do is find the Sharpie that we just lost. All of the holes on the wood have been reamed to the proper depth and width. We are now going to take a moment, clean up a couple of the rough edges. We won't be going anything hog wild and sanding this down to a fine finish. We want to keep the rugged look. We are going to be using two colors on this according to what Ronaldo wanted. We're going to be doing a black base on this, an evergreen type of color up here, and maybe use a little bit of white frost tipping to make it look like snow. This is going to take a little bit to dry, so we'll probably see you later this evening or tomorrow morning. As you can see, the tree is completely painted and dry. I'm going to leave this area open because Ronaldo said that he wanted to work on the shaft or trunk of the decoration, so I left that alone. Another step, this is exterior paint, so it will be fine. Another step you could take if you would like is you could coat this with a sealant. I have personally seen some of these trees last in the upwards of 50 years and still look quite nice. You can also paint on decorations if you would like, perhaps tinsel, streamers, or garlands. This is where I will take it and I will be completed with it. We are now going to put the light onto the tree. Let me get this out of the way. No, I have not started drinking the claw. That is for a Christmas holiday gift for Ronaldo Quintessential. If you watch Ronaldo Quintessential's Christmas special, you will see the gift I made for him. What we're going to do is take an extension cord. Make sure it's long enough to maneuver around. And we're going to plug it in. Now, don't be afraid that you're going to get electrocuted. Unless you feel like putting one of your fingers or tongue into that outlet, you will be absolutely fine. Don't do that. But the reason you want it plugged in is so when you go to insert the bulb into the socket, you can make sure that you have good connectivity and the bulb will light up. Do not cross thread. If you do, it is just plastic and you will have to re-groove the threads in the socket. There we are. that's the first one. I'm going to get to work on this and we'll see you in a little bit. We have completed Ronaldo's Christmas tree. As you can see, the spiral design that we went with looks as though it did work how we wanted it to, as well as it is a nice looking decoration. That is going to do it, but as always, we will be taking a question from one of our viewers just like you. This is from Rita in Cloquet, Minnesota. Thank you, Rita, for watching the show. Hello, Big Al. Now that you are in the Twin Ports area, could you please tell me the proper winter storage for my bush? Well, Rita, there's a lot of different ways to tackle a bush up here. There's all different kinds of bushes as well. You need to find out, is this a thorn bush? Are there briars? Is there anything that's going to cut you and leave a scar after penetrating the bush to get into the system? Also, is this one of those types of bushes like a rose bush where it needs to be covered at the roots? Is this one that gets trimmed back all the way every year? Or is this a bush that thrives when it grows wild and spreads out as much as it can? Without knowing exactly what kind of bush you have, I can't tell you exactly how to care for it. If it were my bush, what I would do is I would get deep in there, I would investigate, be sure you spread around and find out where the main line comes in, and then dive in and really find out what's going on. See if it has too much water, moisture, if it has runoff, and really do everything you can to make sure that your bush stays vibrant and healthy. The last thing you want is for your bush to get some sort of infection going into the winter, because when it comes out the other side on spring, it's not going to be a pretty sight. This is Al Nelson saying, know how to use your tools.